Hey everybody, we're just about to get started. Just give me a moment here. As soon as I'm live everywhere, we will start. Hang in a moment. Let's see here. One more. All right, it looks like one more place to check, and as long as we're live everywhere, we will start. 1 second. Okay. All right, there. Check my smoothie shred. Sweet. All right, we're live everywhere, and it is exactly 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Brooke Goldner from Goodbye Lupus, and it's already Wednesday. And on Wednesdays, I come on live as much as I can to donate my time as a public service to all of you who are looking for extra support, help, encouragement on living a better life for disease reversal, optimal nutrition, fitness, health, happiness, all of the things that all of us want. I'm here to help every way I can. Now, this can't substitute for medical advice, but I will help you every way I can. And of course, go to your doctor to get that medical advice if you need it. So let us see here. I was thinking right before we started about what I wanted to chat about. And then I saw somebody posted this picture in Smoothie Shred. And I thought, you know what? That'd be interesting. Maybe I should share that with you, because one of the things that I think is really important to understand. I actually was just talking to my private 4-weeker today. I call them 4-weekers. I have a private rapid recovery program where I take care of people every day for 4 weeks. They can talk to me as much as they need to. I go over everything they eat. I help them with their food sensitivity, everything I can, I help them with every day. And so one of the things I was helping her with today was she slipped and fell, got some chips in her mouth. Just, oh no, right? Just happened. And I was talking to her about, well, let's figure out exactly what happened, right? Because things don't just happen. There's times where I joke around that you tripped and fell and the chips went in her mouth, but that's not the case, right? Things happen, and there's a space, there's a moment between the impulse and the action. And the more I can help people understand the thoughts that they have in that moment, the thought that gives you permission, right? Because you see it, you have the impulse or the thought, like, oh, I want that. And then there's the thought that gives you permission to reach for it. And so what I will do is figure out what was in that space of time that made you reach for it rather than get out the door, right? If you don't have good impulse control yet, getting away from it should be the first impulse, right? And so we were talking about that. And one of the things that it came down to, one was this thought of like, a little bit can't hurt. Absolutely it can. She's dealing with kidney failure. Absolutely. One bite. I've seen one bite take 8 points off of someone's kidney function that we had worked so hard to get, right? So that was one part of it, is we have to dispel, erase the unhealthy and untrue thoughts people have that give them permission to sabotage themselves. But the other part of it was this thought of like, is this forever, or at some point do I get to eat chips, right? Because as long as there's a part of your brain that believes this is temporary, 4 weeks with Dr. G and then chips, then why not have chips a week early, right? Like, well, all right, 3 weeks in, chips, 4 weeks in, chips, what's the difference, right? And so what we were talking about back and forth today was about that idea that in some ways, yes, this is forever. Not the emergency protocol that we use in rapid recovery, but the plant-based protocol, the step down and maintenance protocol is forever. And once you have that in your mindset, the rest actually becomes easy, right? Because as long as you think at some point I'm going to eat that again, then your brain's always looking for a good enough reason. Well, why not now? Why not today? Versus you saying, no, never again. And I just want you to understand that this is something I did too. I was not born eating this way. I'm not lucky like my son Solomon, who grew up his first year of life raw, 100%, smoothies, breast milk, all healthy foods, didn't even taste sugar till 3, and still even now doesn't have a taste for it, never had, any kind of cheeses, or it's amazing, right? Lucky kid, right? I don't want him to have anything I had to deal with. But I didn't grow up that way. And so anyway, right before I came on, literally seconds before, I saw this picture pop up online and it went, that is a picture that'll prove to people that I did not always eat this way. So look at me today. I am 47 and a half, right? I'm going to be 48 in February. This was me exactly 20 years ago at 27. So let's see if I can share this. All right. Let me see if I can make it the whole screen. Full screen layout. Let's see if I can do it. No, I wanted the other one. There we go. So just so you can see, look at my face. All right. Let me see if I can make myself bigger. So here we are. We are 27 years old. Okay. And yes, back then my husband still had hair in his head, and that is what I look like. Okay. I liked to exercise. I would eat salads sometimes. I'd eat fruit, but I also ate dairy and eggs every day. And that's what I look like. Okay. So I know what it's like to stop eating the stuff that you're used to eating. I didn't always eat this way. Okay. Ready? We're going to stop sharing and you'll see me. That's 27, 47 and a half. All right. So I want you to understand that I'm not just saying stuff that is not something I understand or have been through. I know what it's like to change your mindset and to make a decision that you're going to do better for yourself. And it is the best thing you'll ever do. But it does involve you making a decision of yes, never again. Not that you can never eat a bite of something unhealthy, all right? In the maintenance program, like if you've been 6 months or more, no symptoms, normal labs, a little bit of oil or sugar or some alcohol, you should be able to maintain your health. And I've shown that. In my recent case series I published with people with lupus and Sjogren's, all of them were symptomatic on medication. All of them were asymptomatic within 2 to 6 weeks on my rapid recovery program. All of them were taken off their medications by their own rheumatologists, and all of them remained symptom-free on my step-down and maintenance program, one of them for 8 years, right? So it works. Now, in step-down and maintenance, yeah, you can tolerate a little bit of sugar, oil, or alcohol after you fully reverse your illness. But if you add that back too soon, you're going to get your symptoms back, right? Because you're not fully healed. You're just better enough not to have symptoms. A lot of people sabotage that. The moment they feel better, they're eating junk. But forever, the worst things. If you've gotten over your addiction to eggs and dairy and meat, don't go back to it. That's like a smoker who healed emphysema saying, when can I smoke again? Technically, you could probably get away with it occasionally, but why would you ever do it again once you almost lost it? So what I found is the people who go back to animal products, they usually relapse. The people who follow the step-down program the way I teach it, they keep their results. So that's my recommendation. But I saw that picture and I thought you'd get a hoot out of it. Oh, look at you guys complimenting it. I had some cheeks on me, didn't I? All right. Let's see here. Well, last time we started with YouTube. So today I'm going to start with Instagram. Instagram was last time. So we're going to go first to Instagram. So let's see here. I'm live on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Smoothie Shred, all of that at the same time here. So let's see what's going on in Instagram. Oh, this is so cool. Let me see if I can share this one. Now that I've figured out how to share my screen on this, I'm going to show you how I pick my Instagram. Now you're going to watch me in a picture. So this one right here, I just wanted you to be able to see. It says, you helped my daughter get into remission from lupus. So that's so cool. I absolutely love hearing stuff like that, especially from people that I haven't even met who are just following my coaching for free. That's what makes me want to keep coming back and doing this, right? All those people. I don't know if you saw I posted the other day, someone had to cancel their appointment because they healed before they got to see me from all my free content. Great. That's why I do this. So that makes me very happy. Congratulations to you and your family, Nia. No, I'm sorry. That wasn't Nia. That was Therese. All right. Nia has a question. Does protocol help with Friedreich ataxia or degenerative tissues or cells? I haven't had somebody come to me for Friedreich's ataxia. What the protocol does is help with decreasing inflammation and optimizing cellular repair and immune function. So all it can do is help. but I don't have any results for that specific illness. And so if I have not personally helped someone recover from it, I'll always say, I don't know, because I only teach from results. But if you try it and you get results, please tell me. Do make sure you do all components of the protocol, including the omega-3s. Omega-3s are not just necessary for the anti-inflammatory immune system, but cellular metabolism, cellular repair, and they are the key ingredient that creates your nerve cells. So anyone who has a nervous system issue, please make sure you're getting all those omega-3s from flax and chia. All right, let's see here. Oh, thanks, Gaia. Let's see here. All right. Okay, so one other one here. It looked funky when I tried to share Instagram, so I'll just read it. It says from Michelle Alexis, my labs are perfect. Thanks to you, no sign of lupus activity for 2 years now. Yay, so cool. But my hair still sheds more than normal. Why would this be? So this question, I'm not really sure if there's an issue or not. And what I mean by that is sometimes it's not really a problem. So you're not saying that you have bald patches, alopecia, but shedding. So what do you mean by shedding, right? So if you're talking about like shedding, like my hairbrush has tons of hair in it, but I have no sign of hair loss. Like my hair grows effusively, right? But I'm just maybe not as gentle as I should be. I don't know. So sometimes people will kind of track this when it's not necessarily an issue. If you got rid of lupus for 2 years, your body is extremely healthy. You did the impossible, right? Well, at least the impossible to the Western medical world, normal in mind. So you beat lupus and you feel great. Good sign of health. If you actually are having hair loss, I would just look to see that you have enough iron, most likely, and I'd look at your stress levels. I talked about it at length in the last Wednesday last week, so I won't go deeper than that. And I think I even posted about it as well. Let me see here. All right, let's go over and see if Smoothie Shredders are putting anything in here. All right, not yet. I think they all came over to YouTube. I was telling them about the YouTube algorithm. All right, speaking of YouTube, let's come over here. All right. Myra, I see your post, but there's no question. So if you have a question, please write what your question is. Sometimes someone will just give me their diagnosis as you did, Myra, but there's no actual question afterwards. So let me know what the question is so I know what you want to know about. Veronica Phase Yoga. I'm addicted to sweets and I can't go even 3 days without eating something sweet, even after eating fruit. I can't resist temptation to stop eating candies, chocolate chips. So what you're describing, Veronica, is addiction, right? So addiction is the behavior of continuously going back and repeating a behavior that you know is harmful to yourself, that you feel this irresistible impulse to do that. So you have to treat it as an addiction. A lot of times people will shame themselves that if they continue to eat things they know are bad for them, that I'm weak, that I'm lame, that, there's something wrong with me, I'm unmotivated. And the truth is none of those are true. The truth is you have an addiction, right? Because you can't last more than 3 days, right? And then you start jonesing for it, then you start wanting it. So that's what addiction is. So what do you do for addiction, right? Number one, it requires abstinence. So the first question would be, how do you get to abstinence, right? So abstinence would be making sure it's all out of your house, right? Even if it's I'm less worried about you being addicted to fruit, okay? But make sure there's no candy, processed sugars, or anything in your house. Make sure you tell people around you that you're abstaining, because friends mean well, family members mean well, and they push it on you, and then they'll say, you've been so good, a little won't hurt. And you're like, yes, it will, because then I'm going to be addicted again, right? Like an addict can't have a little, because at least an alcoholic can't have a sip of champagne, because they're going to end up drinking a bottle. Like they can't have a little. So you have to start treating it with that same level of seriousness, right? That same gravitas that you would give to any other kind of chemical addiction. So you let people know. Sometimes you need a support group, right? There's some people join my 6-week rapid recovery group for that, because we're there with them every single day. We have multiple people in our group with different kinds of eating disorders, both restrictive and overeating, right? So some folks do it that way. There are also groups out there, just Overeaters Anonymous and other support groups like that can help you. You can work with a therapist on it as well, right? The other thing that you can do, even while you're not yet ready or still struggling with being able to abstain, is to at least make sure that you get what you're missing, right? So hypernourishment was designed to be something you can add to your diet and be able to start getting benefits to your health and metabolism, even if you're still eating badly, right? Now, this is different than what I was saying in the beginning for people with diseases, right? If you are trying to reverse a disease that is destroying your kidney, your brain, your liver, any of the organs, it's destroying your ability to live your life, then you've got to go into high gear and you've got to figure out a way to do it. That's why I created Rapid Recovery as a way to here I am with you every day. I'll hold your hand. We'll do it together, right? But if you're trying to change your habits and your life is not at risk, then adding what you're missing is a great way to start. Okay, while you're adding hypernourishment, sometimes you can do it where you go, okay, I'll add hypernourishment and I can only eat something sugary if I finished all the hypernourishment guidelines. What's going to happen? You're automatically going to eat less junk because you're more full, right? There's less hours left to do it. It'll crowd out some of the other stuff. And some days you might not even feel like it. But psychologically, you don't have that. It's not the same negativity psychologically as someone saying you can't, right? Like if I say you cannot have any candy, what happens in your brain is all you hear is candy, 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 right? So sometimes it can help psychologically prepare to say, fine, I can eat whatever I want after I eat all this other stuff first, and make yourself meet those guidelines beforehand. And then if you feel like you can eat it, and if you don't feel like it, that's fine. And there's a good place to start as well. I hope all of those start giving you some places to start in order to get to that recovery. But I hope a lot of folks with food addiction, and you also need to have a really good reason why, so that you can remember what is the point? Why shouldn't I eat sugar? What do I want more? What matters more to me in my life than this bite of candy? And weigh it against each other, like the scales, right? Like the Libra scales, what is this candy worth? Is it worth giving up on this dream I have for my life? And if not, chuck it and run the other way. All right, let's see here. Let me see. Mrs. Strawberry. Greetings from Germany. Let's see here. How long does it take to reverse chronic fatigue syndrome on the Goodbye Autoimmune Disease Protocol? That depends on many things, okay? So most folks I see who do my rapid recovery programs reverse it during that time. So whether it's even my 4-week program, my 6-week program, if they start doing all of the different things that we ask them to do, between getting the right sleep, getting their bodies moving again, even though you're exhausted, exercise actually will build up energy as you do it more, and getting the nourishment in. Very, very important. For some folks, part of that chronic fatigue, though, is not just about their sleep and nourishment and their exercise levels, but it's also about their moods. And people with depression and anxiety tend to have very low energy too. So sometimes we have to work on that as well. And so that's why it says it depends. It should get better as you work on all of these areas, but it's very important to address all the different reasons that you have a leak in that energy so we can plug the leak and get you back to being full again. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's go to what Facebook's asking me about. Oh, thank you, Philip. I love you back. Let's see here. All right. All right, let's see. Okay, so Alyssa's having a problem. Says, I lost my period when I was doing the GLP for Hashimoto's. What could be the reasons? I've been doing it for 3.5 months. Period stopped within a month in. So I don't know is my first answer, right? Because I can't see you. I don't know your case and I don't know everything else. So periods can come and go for many different reasons. And sometimes it's not the reason you thought, right? So if it suddenly stopped a month in, one, I don't know your age, right? I'm in my late 40s. I'm perimenopausal. So they come and go at their own rate now instead of like nice and monthly. It'll be like a few months, nothing, and then 2 weeks. And then, but that's just part of me tapering off my hormones, and I'm here for it. So sometimes it's just age related, right? Like you were already on your way. Sometimes it's because you did something new that your body found stressful, right? So sometimes when people start doing a protocol that's different, they could skip a period. I can tell you that actually doing the protocol correctly, I don't see that happening. Like in my groups, for example, where I'm watching people every day, people's periods don't go away. I have had people's periods come back. I had a woman who had no period for a year, and it came back during the group as her body got healthy. So it's not like the eating vegetables and omega-3s and water hurts your period. Okay. Sometimes people can have their period go down for a lot of other reasons. So it can be hormonal, can be stress, emotional, physical stress. Sometimes it can be weight related, but weight related usually is because someone is not eating enough, not because they're nourishing. So again, I don't have enough data to help you with that, but maybe some of that can give you information. Hopefully your Hashimoto's is gone, because that's a long time to be fully on the protocol. So if your Hashimoto's is gone, go into step down and then see what happens. But normally people don't have to stick with it that long if they're doing it correctly. So just make sure you're eating enough as well. We want to make sure that sometimes people undereat when they're doing it. Let me see here. All right. Les wants to know, I have Barrett's. I've started your Goodbye Lupus protocol instantaneously from processed foods. Should I come off PPIs as I can't see a doctor for 6 months? And should I have started Goodbye Lupus protocol slow with gut problems? If it's not causing you any increase in symptoms, it's okay to just switch right over. Many folks do. I would talk to your doctor about the medications. If you've been on those medicines for a long time, if you suddenly stop them, you can have some symptoms return. So I would actually call your doctor about it, see if you can talk to them about it. If not, I would wait till you could see them so you can decide that. I can't give you medical advice off of the internet. So, all right. All right, let's see. Let's go back to Instagram. Let's see here. All right. So on Instagram, let's see the next question. Oh, hi, Lori. You're on Instagram. All right. Jadrin says, hi, Dr. G. I'm pregnant. Most symptoms are in remission. I'm having major food aversions. So first of all, I'm really glad that your symptoms are in remission and you're pregnant. That's wonderful. That's very, very good. Food aversions, yeah, that's part of the issues with pregnancy, and it's one of the multiple reasons I have for people to get healthy before they get pregnant. Because when you're pregnant, sometimes you can't make yourself eat the things you know you need to eat because you have the food aversions and you throw up. I know I throw up like a champ whenever I'm pregnant. It's like it's just, I mean, pregnancy to me feels like a tequila hangover every day for over 9 months. And they tell me how healthy I am, and I'm like, ugh, right? Some people just love it. They feel great. And others of us are like the whole time. It's a gamble, right? So there's no question attached to what you wrote. So I don't know what you're asking about, or if you just wanted me to know about it. If you want to work with me on a healthy diet for pregnancy, I'm happy to do that. For people who don't have any health issues, hyper-nourishing plant-based diet is the way to go. If you're sick, I mean, I've helped people reverse their lupus while pregnant and Sjogren's while pregnant. And they did the full Goodbye Lupus protocol while pregnant. They're eating big supermarket, cartfuls of food like every 2 days, that did it and had a beautiful, healthy pregnancy and birth. But you know, when you are, if you're still trying to reverse disease pregnant and you have food aversions, then the goal is just to figure out how can I get these foods in. And I can strategize with you if I'm able to kind of find out what your aversions are. I can help you figure out how to do it because I know I had to do that myself. But if you can get healthy first, it makes it a heck of a lot easier. I hope everything goes beautifully well with your pregnancy and your child. KSE wants to know, is there a connection between photosensitivity and the food that we eat? Thank you. Well, in a sense. So photosensitivity, there's multiple reasons for it. I mean, sometimes it's as simple as a serum or medication people use. Like when people use Retin-A or retinoids on their skin, they can have photosensitivity, sensitivity to the sun. Usually if someone's asking me about photosensitivity, they're asking about autoimmune disease. So is it related to what you eat? Well, yes, in that your health is related to what you eat. So I know for me, photosensitivity was one of the most limiting symptoms that I had. So in the 12 years that I lived with lupus, that was one of the hardest ones to live with because there was no medicine that fixed it, right? So for me, photosensitivity meant that I could not go into the sun whenever it was out in the middle of the day. So I could go out in the morning, I could go out once the sun was setting, but not during the regular parts of the day. And this is from 16 to 28. So it was a huge limiter on my life. And if I did rashes and migraines and pain, joint pain, it was just that. So was it related to what I ate? Well, yeah, because the lupus was, right? I could take medicines for migraines. I could take medicines for joint pain, but I couldn't do anything to do anything about the photosensitivity except for avoiding the sun. The wonderful thing is for people who get well, photosensitivity stops being an issue and then they're able to go in the sun again. And to me, that was the most glorious part of recovery, was being able to go out to the sun, to go swimming during the day instead of in the evening, to be able to go to the beach, parasailing, like whatever, be out in the sun. And even now, I love to be out in the sun so much that my husband calls me a lizard because he's like, you just need to warm up on a rock outside. So it is related in the sense that if it's an inflammatory illness, an autoimmune disease that's causing it, you get rid of that disease by eating to reverse it, like on the Goodbye Autoimmune protocol, then you can get the sun back. And that's what we've seen for our folks is they get the sun back. And it's absolutely glorious. All right. Oh, Jasmine did answer. She did ask a question later on. So since I started, I'll finish it. She said, I can only stomach Ezekiel bread with avocados or cream cheese. Okay, definitely get rid of the cream cheese because that will create inflammation and illness, okay? Ezekiel bread with avocados, okay, that's a start. So maybe you can start with there and maybe try to sneak in some vegetables into that. So for example, in my Goodbye Lupus Hello Delicious book, there's a recipe called guacamole, where the broccoli is minced in and mixed into the guacamole. And maybe you can do that and start trying to get your nutrition in that way as a start. But again, it can be difficult and I'd be happy to help you to try to personalize it more. Okay. And one more over here. Rudy wants to know, is eating tofu plus plant-based diet still good? If you are otherwise healthy, not trying to reverse a disease, living your life, then yeah, I eat tofu almost every day. And I like it. It's good. No problem. It's not part of the disease reversal protocol, but it is part of step down to maintenance. Okay, let's see here. All right, let's see. Smoothie Shreds asked some questions. Let's see here. All right, let's see. Okay, so Sexton wants to know, I'm trying to eat healthier. I'm cutting carbs, I'm cutting sugar, and I'm hypernourishing. My lab work recently shows low MCV, MCH, and MCHC, and low vitamin D. I've been having leg cramps lately, which isn't typical for me, and I noticed that it happens after I start my menstrual cycle. I never had issues prior to eating healthier, but I hypernourished because autoimmune is very prevalent in my family history, so I'm trying to avoid it. I'm not sure if I'm depriving my body in the process of eating better. Okay, I love this question because it really highlights the thought distortions people can have when they're trying to analyze what's going on. And I don't mean that as an insult. I am actually, hey, if you ask me a question, you're giving me stuff to talk about, right? There is no, like, cutting sugar, right? Eating healthier and cutting sugar will not cause you to be deprived of anything. How are you depriving your body of anything by cutting out sugar? You're not, right? So you got to take that one off the list of what might be wrong, right? When we're trying to figure out what's wrong, it's not like, crap, I need to eat sugar again. That's not it. You are not deprived. In fact, if you've added hypernourishment, you have now created more nourishment in your body than you ever have in your whole life. That's what hypernourishment does, right? So there's no deprivation. right? Very, 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 very important. Okay, so take that one off the list. Gone. Okay. What are the causes of low MCV, MCH, and MCHC? Typically, it's low iron. And so it makes sense that, especially if you might have, you said you have some issues that started on your menstrual cycle. I'm wondering if you had that test done around your menstrual cycle, and if you have very heavy periods, maybe you're getting a bit iron deficient. People don't become iron deficient from eating healthier. It's not like, oh my God, give me back the candy bars, I'm iron deficient. Why you're iron deficient? That I do not know. If you are hypernourishing correctly, you should be getting plenty of iron. There's tons of iron in spinach. There's tons of iron in things like chia seeds. There's iron. Okay. But what I would say is, if I had someone coming to me who had a low MCV, I would suggest an iron supplement to get those numbers to fix themselves. Right now, I don't know how low it is. Sometimes people will go, oh my God, it's red, it's low, and it's like right on the barrier or whatever. So I'm not sure, but your doctor should have told you that. If you have a low MCV, the first line is to take an iron supplement and fix that. Okay. Again, it's not because you're eating more healthfully. That doesn't cause that problem. Or else everyone who did the Good Autoimmune protocol would become iron deficient, right? But no, that doesn't happen at all. People's blood tests look fantastic. So there is some reason that you're a bit iron deficient, and I don't know what it is. My guess is it could have to do with your menstrual cycle. Some women, while they're having their menses, tend to get iron deficient and have to supplement a bit. So that's what I would do there. Vitamin D is important to supplement. Okay, so make sure that you take your vitamin D supplement. If you click on my link tree, there's a link to my Amazon list of the vitamin D that I like and that I use. It's up to you if you want to, people like to know that, so you can check that out. But make sure that you're replacing vitamin D and that you take a loading dose of vitamin D to bring it back up again. 50,000 IUs, a loading dose. And leg cramps, there's multiple reasons for leg cramps. Okay. So, most common reasons for leg cramps, and we're going to rule some of them out right away, would be low calcium, low potassium, and then low sodium, right? If you are eating hypernourishment, if you're actually doing it, sometimes people say they're hypernourishing, but they're not really hitting the guidelines. But if you're actually hypernourishing, calcium and potassium are, oh, I didn't mean to leave the middle finger up. We'll go this way. Calcium and potassium come off the list, right? And then that leaves sodium. So for a lot of folks, what happens is once they hypernourish, I did not mean to give you the finger, I promise. Once they hypernourish, then they sometimes forget that they also need to have sodium intake. If you're getting a large water intake, and if part of your eating healthy meant you cut back on your salt, make sure you're getting enough sodium. That's often the problem, is people combine too much nutrition advice and they go, oh, this person said no salt, this person said more water, I'll do both, and then they cause some problems. So yeah, I crack myself up sometimes. That was not thought out. All right, let's see here. Okay, back up here to YouTube. Let's see. All right. Diana Maria wants to know, can I still do smoothies with fruit even though I have psoriasis? Most people can. If you find you're sensitive and it's not getting better, then you can try taking the fruit out. But many people with psoriasis do it that way. Trouble with Naha, I've had my fatty acids measured and I have below average 6 and above average 3. Should I consider eating more omega-6? No. First of all, my first reaction is I don't really trust those tests. And the reason for that is the tests measure how much omega-3 is in your bloodstream, flowing through your bloodstream. It doesn't test how much omega-3 and 6 is in your cells. So that in of itself just doesn't give us that information. What it tells me is you have a lot of omega-3 in your bloodstream, most likely because you're adding omega-3 the way I'm teaching you to, which makes me very happy. So you get some applause for that. Very good. So you have high omega-3s going through your bloodstream, which is excellent. But even things like flax and chia seeds have some omega-6 in them too. So you get what you need. It won't cause a problem. So no, you don't need to add omega-6. Omega-6 is abundant. It's overabundant, and that's not a problem. But congratulations for getting in what you need. All right, let's see. All right. And Nan wants to know, I was feeling great. 4th week of Goodbye Lupus protocol, had no symptoms of lupus or Sjogren's. Awesome. I camped for 4 days and traveled 9 hours, came back, all symptoms after 4 days. Can traveling cause symptoms to come back? Well, the act of going from place to place does not cause symptoms to come back. But if you ate off-plan items, that will, okay? So you can travel anywhere and stick to the plan. That's no problem, right? You can eat fruits and vegetables and omega-3s, right, in one place and then eat them in another place, and you will continue to feel well. However, if after 4 weeks you got rid of all of your symptoms, which I love that you wrote that because look what you proved. This protocol works. It works. It's called the Goodbye Lupus protocol, but it works for lupus. It works for Sjogren's. It just works. I have to spend most of my time just convincing people to do it, right? Once you do it, it works, right? So the traveling from place to place didn't do it. But what did you eat? Okay. So remember, even though people's symptoms can go away very quickly, you are not fully healed. It took years and trillions of cells had to be damaged in order for you to get symptoms. So the fact that you can be symptom-free in 4 weeks is a huge reason to celebrate. But you don't just stop and then eat other stuff at that. Once you're symptom-free, then enjoy step down, meaning you can do the Goodbye Lupus protocol, you can do hypernourishment, eat other plant foods, and as long as your symptoms don't come back, you just enjoy that, have a good time. But hypernourishment stays a part of your life forever. That is, I mean, look at me right here. Look at me right here. I'm almost done this one, and this one's about to start. Why? Did you see the picture of me at 27? That woman had lupus. She was battling her weight. You know, she was dealing with being on medications. She was sick. And this one has no illnesses at all. And why? So forever, I will do that. I will forever. Now, listen, do I miss it some days? Yes. And that's okay, because I've been doing this for so long. I am nourished. I'm nourished all the way to the top, fully nourished, right? So if I go somewhere, if I travel a little bit, I order salads. I eat a lot of raw foods, but I'm not measuring, weighing. It doesn't matter. I mean, I don't measure and weigh at home either. I'm in maintenance mode. But it's not the same amount that I get at home. But it's okay, because I have a healthy body. But if you're just barely healthy and 4 weeks out, you have a brand new, it's like having a brand new scab over a wound. The wound is not done healing. It's just done bleeding, okay? If you just scratch it gently, boom, that wound is off and bleeding again. But the good news is you know how to heal, right? So go back to doing the protocol fully. And then when your symptoms are gone, you can add back other cooked, unprocessed foods, but don't add back inflammatory stuff and keep the hypernourishment around. You keep that going. Never give up the antidote, okay? Never give up the antidote. Okay, let's see here. All right, Nadine wants to know, good evening from Belgium. Hello. If I do 2 smoothies, 1 chia pudding, and a big salad, gorgeous. Where do I put in the salt? Thanks for all you do. Most folks like it in their salad dressing. That's where I put it. It really depends. So some folks just don't like salt. They got on the salt train and they just don't like the taste of it. And so I'll just tell them, take a half teaspoon and a little bit of water and chug it twice a day. Listen, there is a daily allowance for salt. All of those recommendations that are to avoid salt means it's really supposed to be to avoid excessive salt. But there is a recommended daily allowance of sodium that's necessary for your bloodstream. In fact, that's why if you ever get a complete metabolic panel, which every time you go to get a checkup, your doctor looks at that, what does it measure? One of the first things it measures is sodium, because you need a certain amount of sodium in your bloodstream for your body to function. If your sodium level gets too low in your bloodstream, you could pass out, you could have a seizure, hyponatremia. Right? So when people are eating the standard Western diet, they're eating loads of salt, pounds of salt. And then they switch into a protocol like mine and they go, oh, okay, well, I also heard salt's bad. And they take it out completely. And then they try to drink a gallon of water a day. And then, ooh, I feel weak and queasy and I have diarrhea. The diarrhea, why? Because your body's trying to get rid of the water any way it can. Out the urine, out the butt, anywhere it can. Trying to get rid of that extra water to get your sodium levels back to where they need to be. So you do need it. Most of us like the taste of it, right? Because without salt, things kind of taste like shapes, okay? At least for those of us who are used to it. So if you like the taste of it, great. You know, have a little bit on an avocado maybe in the morning, have some in your salad dressing later, you're set to go. If you don't like the taste of it, then as I said, you can have like a half teaspoon and a little bit of water, shoot it. They also sell sodium chloride tablets for people who really don't like the taste of salt but need it. The only people who need to worry about it are the people who have kidney issues or heart issues, where if you take any sodium in, the water, instead of it staying in your body and hydrating you, gets shoved into your ankles or goes into your lungs, then that's not working for you. But that's why you have to talk to your doctor about it. And nice food there, Nadine. Nice food. All right. Let's see here. Go to Facebook. All right. Lisa wants to know, my restless legs are a pain at night. Will this help? Potentially. I've had folks with restless legs say this fixed it, and other folks where it's an ongoing issue, it's a symptom of something else. So potentially. Let me see here. Oh, I'm just going to show this one because it makes me happy. So thank you so much, Laura. Absolutely love this. So if you want to read it here, it says, you answered my question last week and I took your words to heart about stress. Started free YouTube country line dancing, exercise, qigong, and I'm feeling great again. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm so glad. I'm happy to know Wellness Wednesday works. Let me see. And Sweet BB just wants to know how I am. I'm doing well, thank you. I appreciate you asking. Let me see. Let's see. Trying to find on the Facebook. All right. Alys wants to know, can one heal without eating dark green stuff? I mostly eat green and red cabbages and cauliflower. Is that enough? Yeah, that's great. That's great. All right. And one more on the Facebook side. Maria wants to know, I get bloated with smoothies. What can I do? All right, there's so many things you can do. One easy thing to do is take the whole smoothie and instead of having like 2.5 of these, split the whole amount of smoothie up into like 6 small cups and have 1 cup every 2 hours. It's a small amount, moves through the belly really well. It usually reduces bloat. You can try using flaxseed oil instead of flax or chia seeds. That reduces bloat, that reduces fiber. And you can always eat the food instead of drinking the smoothies, and that helps as well. Try those. All right, let's see. I'm going to go over to Instagram. It's over here. Okay. RK Gill wants to know, is rice flour safe? No, I don't use rice. Rice is a recreational item, meaning when people are healthy and they want to have it sometimes, it's a bit inflammatory. So I don't use it during healing or step down. Andrea, hello, saying hello to me. Let me see. Okay, so Sizzling Queenie says, I love Instagram names. The best. I'm Harisha from India. My mother's suffering from lupus. I have one doubts about smoothie. When time take smoothie and weekly, how many times to take? So remember that, or understand that smoothie is just a mechanism to deliver the ingredients that's in the hypernourishment and goodbye lupus protocols, right? So what we tried to do was simplify as much as possible how to get the ingredients into your body that your body needs to repair damage to cells, reverse disease, optimize immune function, decrease inflammation, right? And what we figured out was that these ingredients are concentrated in just a couple sources, right? The cruciferous vegetables and spinach that can live along there, so we call them high nutrient vegetables, the flax and chia, seeds or oil, and then also you need the water intake to make it happen, right? So we figured that out, and then we figured out how much does it take to actually create a difference that people can actually feel, and what does it take to then create a difference that can really reverse disease rapidly. So the problem was, once we figured that out, people were like, I don't want to eat that much broccoli. Because all I did was I ate like 1.5, 2 pounds of broccoli and cauliflower a day with guacamole, as well as other chopped vegetables all day long, because I didn't know about smoothies back then. I drank the oil off the spoon to get my omega-3s in, and I drank my water, and it worked, and I was thrilled. Okay. And then there's other folks that were like, ew, I don't want to do that. Okay. So when we figured out the smoothie solution, it was just a way to help people who don't like raw vegetables have another way to get them in where they can add some fruit for flavor and drink it through a straw, and voila, it's done, right? So you want to get in hypernourishment every single day, okay? Whether it's through a smoothie, salad, any of the recipes in my Goodbye Lupus, Hello Delicious book. There's so many ideas. In our smoothie shred group, we see people posting all the time, and it makes me so happy. I have one part of my smoothie shred group who's addicted to the cauliflower popcorn recipe, and the other one's the cruciferous lasagna, right? Yeah, that's one of mine. Like cruciferous lasagna is good, right? But all of those recipes in there are ways to have food that looks more like your usual food, but it's different ways to get hypernourishment in. And it has desserts and different dressings and all that kind of stuff, but all very simple and designed to get those ingredients in, okay? So it's not about how much smoothie you need to drink a day. It's about how do we get all of the ingredients in every day? What works best for your mom? Does she prefer having a small serving of like broccoli and cauliflower and guacamole multiple times a day? Does she prefer having smoothie? That's what you need to figure out, okay? So it's not the amount of smoothie, it's how do we get all those ingredients in every single day? Hopefully that makes a little bit more sense. Okay. Uro Sharif was asking me about whether or not medications are safe in pregnancy and nursing, and you need to talk to your doctor about that. All right, talk to your prescriber, talk to your obstetrician about what medications are safe for pregnancy and nursing. Okay. All right, let's see here. Jen Flick wants to know, is there anything you recommend for MRSA and fungal skin issues? Biggest thing I recommend, actually, well, there's a few things. One, medical treatment. If you've got MRSA, you've got a very serious infection that needs to be treated. MRSA is a type of staph infection that's resistant to antibiotics, and it develops when people take a lot of antibiotics, exposed to a lot of antibiotics, and so then they develop this one new infection that is resistant. But the problem is that means it can take over. So they do have treatments for it. How are people exposed? One, taking too many antibiotics, but also people don't realize that antibiotics are given to all the animals that they eat. And so they don't realize how much they're eating antibiotics every day, right? So that's another reason. People with autoimmune disease tend to be sick a lot. I took antibiotics all the time when I was on prednisone, when I was sick, when I was on chemotherapy, because I had no immune system. So I took a lot of them too, right? So one is treatment. If you've already gotten an infection with either of those, you're going to need treatment. With fungal infections, it's been interesting because we've had folks, especially my rapid recovery group, I didn't expect this to happen, but their nail fungus grew out and they recovered. When I was in medical school, I remember specifically them saying nail fungus is almost impossible to treat. Now, granted, this was over 20 years ago, but it was like, yeah, just internal medicines, external creams, it just doesn't get better. And then, I've seen it clear up. So getting your nourishment right, getting your body healthy helps you fight infections, but do make sure you get treatment too. Also make sure you're not using antibacterial soaps, unless your doctor's prescribing it for the MRSA. But it's very important that you maintain the microbiome of your skin. And unfortunately, there is a huge market out there for skin care. They call it skin care, but it's not really, because the soaps strip all the oils off your skin. That takes away your protection. And then you add antibacterial, which also kills off the natural bacteria that's supposed to live there. We're supposed to have bacteria that lives on our skin. That's the healthy kind. Just like in our gut, we have a microbiome in our gut to keep our gut healthy. And when you take antibiotics, you can kill off the healthy bacteria and then have unhealthy grow back or yeast grow back. Same with your skin. You want to have a natural microbiome of your skin. And that's why I don't use antibacterial soaps. I just use olive oil soap, shea butter for lotion, but things that don't have alcohol, things that don't have added other ingredients, and definitely not antibacterial. The only exception I make is my hands, because when you go to public restrooms, I use whatever soap they have, and it's a good thing. So, especially since COVID, everything else, like, but I've always, when I use a public restroom, I'm going to use the soap that they have, because otherwise that's really gross. So my hands are the only part that can never get dry sometimes, or, but otherwise healthy, keep them nice and moisturized. So that's all the things I do. Take care, make sure you're not using anything externally that can cause a problem, and make sure you see your doctor for any treatments that you need so that doesn't get out of control. All right. And Lady of Light, I see that you wrote that your kidney function's at 90%. I'm guessing that means that you've gained function. So please comment and tell me what it was before, because that's awesome. I was just lecturing people on this today, how the kidneys love my protocol. They slurp it up. I picture the kidneys with their own straw just slurping up Kidney function goes up when people do my protocol, and it is really, really cool how quickly and how well it goes up. You've got an A on your kidney function, so that's super cool. All right, let's see over here in Smoothie Shred if someone added some more comments there. All right. All right, now. All right, let's go back here. Hit up YouTube again. What time is it? Oh, we got time. We can do a little more. Let's see. Aw, Philip, you're the nicest. He said you're our number one doctor. You're so sweet. All right, let me see here. You guys just want to make me smile. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Let me see. Okay. All right. So here we go. Monica says, I have a few questions. What do you think is the reason cooked vegetables have a negative impact? I actually don't know for sure. And so I don't like to make things up, as maybe some of you are new here, but the rest of you know that I will only teach you what I know from results, never what I think. Do I have theories? Of course I do. This is what I do every day, but I don't have necessarily all the answers. And as soon as someone tries to make up the answer because they believe they're smart enough to, that's when they end up being wrong and looking dumb, right? So I try to stay humble and say, I don't know all the answers because it's the truth. It's the truth, okay? What I know is what works. So we have tried using cooked vegetables. There are some people who can add hypernourishment to their diet and eat some cooked vegetables too, and they get recovery, and it's wonderful. The reason it's not part of our full Goodbye Lupus protocol is for some people it doesn't work. And the way we developed that protocol is we wanted to make sure that we tested it and that every person who did it got the same results. They got disease reversal, every single one. And if it didn't work, then or if something only worked sometimes, it's out. So there are many people who can do it, cook vegetables, hypernourishment, and they get the results. And it's absolutely fabulous. Many people do that. A lot of times people will tag me online. Hey, I did it. I did mostly raw, but I also had a little bit of cooked potato something, and it worked. Fabulous. But when people are working with me directly, let's say they do a program, right? So my programs are either 4 weeks one-on-one or 6 weeks in a group. We don't have time for maybe. That's just not allowed. So we just do what's the sure thing. So especially in kidney failure, severe kidney failure, even cooked food, I see people's kidney function either stabilize or come down a little bit, whereas on the raw protocol, it gets better every time. Something is going on there. What is it? I don't know. I don't know if there is actually something unhealthy about cooking the food, but it's so minor that most folks would never have any negative effect. But when people are in kidney failure, they're so sensitive that even that minor amount affects them. Maybe it's a theory. There are nutrients that are lost, right? So, for example, sulforaphane, which is the ingredient in cruciferous vegetables that's been proven by the Johns Hopkins research team to not only kill cancer cells in the petri dish, but also block both COVID and the flu virus from being able to replicate. So sulforaphane is a very important ingredient in cruciferous vegetables. Most of it's destroyed with even a small amount of cooking. Right? So you definitely lose nutrients, but why it would stop people from recovering if they were still getting the raw nutrients, it's not clear yet. And so all I can say is that's the results we've seen. So if you're still eating cooked vegetables and you're hypernourishing and you're getting better, fantastic. That's great. Keep doing that. But if you're stuck or you're not getting results, then go to the full Goodbye Lupus protocol, get the results. And then I found that people can add the cooked stuff back when they're maintaining the results and they have no negative impact. So that's why we teach it that way. It's all about results. Nothing I teach is theoretical. As a former patient and as a physician and as a wellness coach, I just feel like that's the most ethical thing I can do is just teach results and never theories. That way you know what I'm teaching you is what I know and have witnessed myself has worked. And let's see, the Rose, I hope I said your name right. I started your Goodbye Lupus protocol. I was curious which my protein intake be apart from leafy greens and vegetables. You got it. So the protocol itself has all the protein you need. So between the high nutrient vegetables, they're called high nutrient for a reason, the flax and chia seeds, you're getting everything you need. You're getting more nutrition than you've ever had in your life, and you're also getting sufficient protein. Nobody is having a problem with protein deficiency. It's the overdose that's causing problems for people. It's a very important thing to understand. Okay, let's get over to Instagram. Let's see. Okay. Let me just check if she answered about her kidney function. Let's see. Let me see. S. Lawless, the protocol is Goodbye Lupus protocol. Let me see here. All right, let me go back up again. I want to make sure I get everybody's. Well, I can't get everyone's question. There's no way. But hopefully the answers you hear help you. And then I'm back next week. And then I'm back. And then I'm back. And of course, if you need me to help you personally, you need a personalized plan, you need to talk to me about your health history, my wellness appointments are 75 minutes. So you get just me working on you for that time. But I do as much as I can every week here. So let me see here. Let me scroll in. All right. Melissa wants to know, have you had results with pulmonary fibrosis? Yes, we have. Absolutely, we have. Michelle feels awesome. That makes me happy. S. Lawless, the Sjogren's protocol is the same protocol. It's called the Goodbye Lupus protocol because it got rid of my lupus. And so my first book was called Goodbye Lupus, but the protocol is the same. Yeah. Let me see here. Sandra wants to know thoughts on collagen supplements, unnecessary, and animal ones are definitely off plan. Christine, where's the free protocol located? You're on my Instagram. It's everywhere. But a great place to start would be to, since you're on Instagram, click on my profile link, and that'll give you all the resources. We have free recipes and smoothie shred. There's educational videos there. If you go to my Goodbye Lupus page on the media page, there's articles. And then my book, Goodbye Lupus, has the protocol there. But if you don't want to buy the book, you can go to your library and ask them if they have it or if they can order it for you. Those are great places to start. But yeah, a lot of people told me they literally heal by just watching all my videos and taking action every day. But most people decide to read the books. They'll watch my online classes. And then they watch my videos as well to get all the information together. And Lawless, this will also reverse the high liver enzymes too. All right, let me see if there's another one I can do quickly. Seabird wants to know, what's the best filling food and hypernutrient? Well, if you are hypernourishing correctly, you are full. Most folks are not complaining of hunger when they're hypernourishing. They are full. But if you want to know, broccoli and cauliflower are pretty dense. They tend to be pretty filling. Of course, adding things like flax oil, chia pudding, avocado helps things be more filling as well. All right. Let's see. She says she's watching with a green smoothie in her hand. Cheers. All right. Okay. And let's see if another one I can do to quickly answer. Let's see. All right. And Lisa Lotus, if you want to know about protein, I recommend, it's easier to search YouTube than to search Instagram. Go to my YouTube channel and just search protein on my YouTube channel. I got so much there, but you get all the protein you need. It is a myth that you need to supplement protein. I'll tell you something funny today. So I'm in this CrossFit boot camp, and the women there are so strong. It's awesome. It's the first boot camp I've gone to where instead of being like the fittest person in the room, I can go, whoa, no, those people are really, really fit. Like they are like, wow, jacked up. But I'm very strong. And I can do all the workouts really well. And so I just started with this boot camp a few weeks ago. And even in the second week, the trainer was like, wow, you're lifting really heavy. That's really awesome, right? So I've only gotten compliments. On my strength and everything. And then today they were talking about a recipe. So they like to talk about food a lot. And so they were talking about, most people in CrossFit do paleo diets. So they eat meat, but no dairy. But then they'll eat like nuts and stuff like that, fats. So they were talking about like a beef Wellington recipe that used like cashews for the cream. And so I was like, you guys talk about food a lot, and so I said, yeah, I don't do the beef part, but I can understand the cashew cream part. And as soon as I said, she goes, you don't eat beef? Do you don't eat meat? I said, no, I don't eat any meat. As soon as she heard that, she's like, well, what about your protein? Are you getting enough protein? She never asked me that watching me work out, right? I wear my jacket most of the time, but I'm strong, right? And I'm lifting like the other day, I was lifting heavier weights than her. And as soon as she heard that I'm planting, I was like, yeah, after the workout, I'm going to have a green smoothie, salad at my dinner time, and she's just like, oh my God, your protein. It's in there. It's just in people's minds because they've heard it so many times. I said, don't worry about protein. I'm good. I said, my husband's actually done the research that you can build muscle faster on half the protein on a plant-based diet than a meat-based diet. The information's there, right? And we've studied it and we live it. And so you don't have to worry about that, but I have tons of videos on it. All right, everybody. It is so great to see all of you here. It always goes by in a rush. I do have a lot going on. I'll be giving you updates. We're actually just in the first week of our rapid recovery group. So everyone is just in the first, what did I get into phase? No, there are some folks who already actually have written down. There's a couple of folks who've already had increased energy. Their brain fog's lifted. They're feeling really good. And then other folks who are just entering detox, I don't know what floor you're on, but move. And it's all wonderful. I love taking care of everyone there in the group. And we're looking forward to getting them well. And I'll tell you updates as they start to come in. But yes, so I have to go and take care of all those folks as well as see the rest of the appointments today. But I'll be back next week. And in the meantime, use the resources I have. I see a bunch of you wrote that you're new today. Thank you so much for coming today. I have a ton of resources and I do this free coaching as well. So click the link in my profile if you're on Instagram. Click the link with this video that says learn more. I have tons of free resources. Also resources for people who want to actually hire me, of course, but I have tons of free resources. And as you can see from the comments, so many people actually have reversed their diseases just from my books and my free resources, and have never met me. And it's the reason I'm here. That's my hope, is that all of you end up at the point where you're just enjoying your lives and you don't need to do this anymore. So anyway, love to all of you, and I will see you next week. Go and have those veggies. You like smoothies? Have smoothies. You like salads? Have salads. Just find a way to get it done, and your body will be grateful that you did. I'll see you next week, everybody.